Alrighty, it looks like it is noon, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks again for joining us for our second Money Counts webinar of the semester. Today we are going to be talking about dining on a budget, one of the tougher things to do in the last few years. My name is Allie Smith. I'm a specialist here at Penn State's Sokolov-Miller Family Financial and Life Skills Center. I head the one-on-one financial coaching program at the center, and I host this regular webinar series. I am joined today by Aiden Kamowski. He is one of our financial literacy ambassadors, and he will be in the chat posting some helpful links and answering your questions as we go. Throughout today's webinar, feel free to ask questions via the chat or the Q&A feature. I'll go ahead and take a look back through both of those at the end of the webinar. For those of you who are joining from the SMEAL Ethical Leadership Challenge, I have a QR code that I'll post at the end for you. So before we dive in here, I would love to just take a minute to get an idea of who is in our audience today. And I've got a poll for you here. So I would just love to know, what is your affiliation with Penn State? Where are you coming from? Looks like we have a good mix of undergraduate students and staff and faculty. So welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you here. Okay. So we can't really talk about dining on a budget without sharing some local resources to help address food insecurity. Sometimes budgeting, couponing, or cutting back just isn't enough, and this is where these services and resources can come in to help you put food on the table and meet your nutrition needs. So just kind of going through this list, the Lions Pantry is the official on-campus student food pantry at Penn State's University Park campus. The pantry distributed 34,000 pounds of food to students in the year 2021. So they have a pretty big impact on our student community here. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, helps folks in eligible low-income households get access to food. The SNAP program aims to increase purchasing power at grocery stores by providing an electronic benefits transfer card that can be used to make food purchases. You can apply for SNAP online. Other public assistance programs can help cover costs for things like housing, heating assistance, and healthcare. The link that Aiden shares for this will take you to a page with all the Pennsylvania public assistance programs. So we have the Lion Pantry on campus, but State College also has a food bank located on South Atherton Street for the larger community that's not specifically a part of campus. The State College Food Bank takes new clients Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 2 and 3 p.m. And if you're someone who's in a position to give back, you can donate cash, food, or your time to the State College Food Bank. Center Helps has a 24/7 hotline and helps folks meet their basic needs through a variety of different programs. The St. Andrews Community Cafe has a free dinner every Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. Donations are welcome, but not required to attend that. And then finally, the Office of Student Care and Advocacy has a basic needs and support office to help students who are struggling with food or housing insecurity. So if any of these resources seem like they would be helpful to you or someone you know, please reach out and get connected. Budgeting for food has always been difficult, but it's become increasingly so in the last few years. If you're feeling this strain on your budget and your overall finances in general, you are definitely not alone. Aside from housing, food is typically the next largest expense in our budget. Our healthy sample budget that we use in the center recommends spending no more than 30% of your net monthly income on housing and no more than 20% of your net monthly income on food. I think budgeting for food can be even more difficult than budgeting for like rent because it's not a fixed expense that comes out at the same time every month. It's a variable expense. And food prices fluctuate, especially lately. One day you can go shopping and eggs are $2 a carton, and the next day you go, they're $4 or $5 a carton. Your food budget is also a budget within a budget, which can kind of complicate things even more. If you've ever attended another presentation of ours, you've probably heard us say that budgeting is a fundamental aspect of financial wellness. All of your other financial goals start with having a budget. So if you don't have an actual budget for your overall day to day, month to month finances, budgeting specifically for food is going to be very difficult if you don't have that kind of context around your overall finances. So if you're someone who doesn't have a budget, you need one. And this isn't technically a budgeting presentation, so I'll just leave you with a few quick tips on kind of establishing a budget. First of all, when you think about a budget, it is two things. And a budget can't be just one of these things, it has to be two. So it is a plan for how you want to spend your money and also a tool to help you achieve that plan. So you need the plan and you also need the tool to help you achieve your plan. Budgeting is also a physical activity, not a mental one. So if you're someone who's just kind of like, yeah, like I think about my money, I think about my paycheck and I think about my rent payment coming out and I'm left with how much I have to spend on groceries and going out for the week. I think that's a good start, but that's not budgeting. Budgeting isn't in your head, it's in some sort of physical form. And we'll talk about this a little later. There are truly a ton of tools and apps out there to help you create your budget plan and also stick to it. We have a great budgeting spreadsheet on our website. And like I said, we'll revisit that at the end. If you are someone who needs a little bit of help establishing your budget, we are also here to help with that. Current students can schedule budgeting sessions with us through Starfish, and alumni, staff, and faculty can reach out to us at finlit@psu.edu to be connected with a financial coach, either one of our staff members or our partners at PNC. So we know budgeting for food is difficult, especially these days, but there are some things we can do to keep our food budgets in check. Habit number one is to have a plan, a meal plan specifically. We have to start with a plan of what we are going to eat before we can budget for how much those meals will cost. No plan means no control over our spending. When making your meal plan, it's important to keep meals that you love in rotation. You're more likely to eat things that you actually like. Personally, I like to do my meal planning once a week on Sundays as I'm preparing for the week. I sit down and I write out all my meals. So I consider those days that I'm getting together with friends for meals and don't shop for those days. I also consider my schedule. If I have a busy week, I'll stick with easy meals and not expect myself to cook gourmet meals from scratch during those busy times. One of my personal go-tos for meals for those busy weeks is chicken, rice, and broccoli bowls, and then I top it with cheese and salsa. So really easy, pretty cheap, and kind of convenient to get together. For those, I get the pre-cooked frozen chicken and I use frozen broccoli florets. So really easy. Planning your meals does not have to be complicated. It can be as easy as that. If you have a busy week, I definitely encourage you to account for that. Successful meal planning might take some trial and error as you learn this skill. Take note of what's working for you and what isn't, and don't give up. We can't talk dining on a budget without talking about Penn State's meal plan options. If you're a student and you eat on campus, it's important for you to know that the cheapest option for your meal is through this meal plan. So the campus meal plan is going to offer the best discount for any student who eats more than 10 meals per week on campus. And for University Park, these would be the meals in the all you care to eat dining commons. The campus meal plan is accepted at every campus dining location on campus and across the state at multiple Penn State campuses. When we talk about the campus meal plan, it's comprised of two cost components. You've got your base cost, which is similar to a membership fee, and then you've got your dining dollars, which is the amount that you actually can spend around campus on food. There are three different levels of spendable dining dollars. If you don't make a choice around that, the Housing and Food Service Department will default you to a level two. So if you've never decided on your meal plan and you live on campus, you likely have a level two. As a student, you are able to change the level at any time through e-living until the last day of the semester. So if your meal plan is too high for you or too low, you're able to change that. Leftover fall dining dollars will roll over into the spring semester, but any dining dollars that you have left at the end of your spring semester will be lost. So, with that being said, it's important that you choose the campus meal plan that's appropriate for you so that you don't lose money at the end of the spring term. This chart we're looking at here shows the cost per meal depending on what type of money you are spending. So just looking at this, you'll see that the campus meal plan is the least expensive by far. Under the campus meal plan, level 1 will give you about 7 to 9 meals per week. Level 2 will give you about 11 to 13 meals per week. And level 3 will give 14 to 16 meals per week. And when we're talking meals, this is swipes into the all you care to eat dining commons. This doesn't account for additional spending at places like Starbucks or the hub dining options, that kind of thing. If you tend to overspend on your dining dollars because of things like Starbucks and the hub dining options, we encourage you to utilize a meal plan budget. Budgeting your meal plan is a great way to practice budgeting in your own financial life because your meal points are actual money and they work just like money when you're spending them. We do have a great comprehensive meal plan budget in the resources section of our website, so you can check that out. We'll likely have some time at the end here as well, and if it would be helpful, I can pull that up and kind of show you how it works in there. But utilizing something like a meal plan budget will allow you to plan your money around your meals and not run out by the end of the semester if you're someone who finds themselves doing that pretty much every semester. So habit number 2 is to change how you shop. You probably already know how important a grocery list is and that you're almost guaranteed to spend more if you shop hungry. Without a list, you may end up just buying a bunch of things that sound good, but be left without any actual meals that can be put together. So, a complete shopping list that allows you to build meals is very important. But I bet you might be shopping backwards. Do you go online for recipes first and then make your grocery list based on that and then shop based on that list? In theory, that is a good idea, but here's a money saving hack to change how you grocery shop. Shop in your own pantry first and see what items you have that you can use for meals for the week ahead. Do you have rice that you bought in bulk? Is there frozen chicken in the freezer? Or is there a zucchini in the fridge that's about to go bad? Plan your meals around things that you already have. This will help you buy less by prioritizing those things that are already in your fridge, freezer, or pantry. And this can also help minimize food waste if you're someone who finds yourself throwing things out frequently. It's basically like throwing money in the trash, right? Also, not every not every grocery store costs the same. So in the State College area, I tend to consider Aldi and Walmart some of the like less expensive grocery stores, while I think Wegmans and Giant tend to be a little bit more expensive. So you could always plan to shop at those typically less expensive grocery stores. Personally, I like to buy meat and produce at Aldi and everything else at Walmart. That's what works for me and my budget. Grocery shopping can be overwhelming, and I think the easier you can make it on yourself, the more likely you are to actually do it. So, here are just a few tips to make grocery shopping easier. Utilize grocery pickup services. Most stores have those these days, and I personally love using grocery pickup because as I'm adding items to my cart on the app, I can see my total balance go up, and that's a luxury that you just don't get in store. In store, you kind of have to pile everything in your cart, and if you're not adding things up as you go, which personally, I know I don't have the time to do that in store, you might be surprised by the bill that you get at the end when you're checking out. But online grocery ordering and pickup lets you do that all online. So as you're putting stuff into your cart, you can see that price go up. If you are someone who likes to go shop in store, you might organize your list by category so you know what you're looking for in each section and you don't have to keep circling back around the store. Sticking to one store per week can also simplify things a bit. Maybe if you do like to go to multiple grocery stores, but you still kind of want to keep things simple for you week to week, you could plan to go to Walmart one week, Aldi the next week, and maybe Trader Joe's the next week. So you can pick up things from those stores that you know that you like without having to visit every store in one day. Ultimately, the goal with grocery shopping is to strike a balance between cost and convenience that's comfortable for you and works within your food budget. Habit number 3 is to look for the deals. You can buy produce seasonally to save some money, or you can utilize canned or frozen produce. These canned and frozen produce products last longer, are cheaper, and frozen fruits and veggies, especially, are just as nutritious as fresh fruits and veggies because they flash freeze those products when they are their most ripe and they hold the most nutrition. Personally, I love to lean on frozen veggies as a cheap, healthy, and easy side dish. I love frozen broccoli. I mentioned that earlier. Frozen Brussels sprouts are also a personal go to. Also, if you have the means to buy in bulk, that's a good way to save some money. When you are comparing options, look at the price per ounce. It's usually listed on the price tag at the grocery store. Right next to the price, how much that thing actually costs, is your price per ounce. Non-perishables are a great thing to buy in bulk if you can afford them, like think big bags of rice or pasta. Things like rice and pasta also make for really simple and easy meals if you keep them on hand. I did mention earlier that I think Giant tends to be one of the more expensive grocery stores, but grocery stores like Giant and Wise have weekly sales flyers. So if you really want to get crafty with dining on a budget, you can shop your pantry first and then check out the sales to see what meals you can create with what you already have and the items that you can get on sale. Also, I'm sure other grocery stores do this too, but I know Walmart marks down meat to sell it before the expiration date. If you find a good deal, you can freeze it until you're ready to use it and then on thaw immediately before you use to keep that meat fresh. But recently, I found a few salmon fillets at Walmart and I bought up a few, put them in my freezer, and when I want salmon, all I have to do is pull that out and let it thaw. It's a great way to kind of stock up when you find things that are on sale, especially things that don't go bad or things that can be frozen. Deals are out there even now. You just have to look for them and you have to be a little patient as well. You also might find some food deals on the Penn State Go app. And if you need a job and really want to get creative about dining on a budget, students who work at Penn State campus dining get free meals before or after work and $2 meals at any other time. So that's a creative way to think about dining on a budget that might be a little bit outside of the box. So we knew this one was coming, right? But habit number 4 is to reconsider dining out. The average American dines out almost 6 times per week and spends about $300 a month on food out. That is a lot of money. Groceries are expensive, but buying groceries and creating meals is almost always going to be much, much cheaper than buying food out. So this requires some preparation on your part. It is okay to lean on convenience foods if they prevent you from eating out as much. For example, the personal example I shared earlier about using the pre-cooked frozen chicken, I know that that pre-cooked frozen chicken is going to be more expensive than chicken that I could buy and prep and cook myself. But if that pre-cooked frozen chicken is preventing me from going and getting lunch at the hub for $10 to $15, that still makes more sense in my life, right? So it is okay to lean on those convenience foods if they help you save a little bit more money in the long run by not eating out. When it comes to dining out, I also think there's a difference between feeling like you have to eat out because you haven't prepared for the day versus eating out to have an experience with your friends or family. Personally, I'd much rather spend my dining out money on dinner with a friend than like getting takeout for lunch because I just didn't bring something. It just feels a little bit more meaningful to me, and I bet some of you would agree. Anyway, we have a short clip on the next slide to show you from a video called How Eating Out Keeps You Poor. It's from the 2 Cents YouTube channel, if you've ever heard of them. Are we going to play here? Oops, sorry. Can we hear this? No sound. Okay. Okay. I might need to reshare my sound. Yep. All right. Hold up. Hold up. Alrighty. Sorry about that. That should work now. Let's try it again.
Croissant at his local coffee shop and buys lunch at the local food court 4 days a week. Fridays are pizza day at the office. In 1 year, he spent over $9,000 on commercially prepared food and drinks, over 12% of his yearly salary of $75,000.
What if Jake could get those 3 dinners down to just 1 a week? And what if he started making coffee and breakfast at home and brown bagged lunches at work? Assuming that all those homemade meals would come out to around $5 each, that would mean a yearly savings of $4,420. That's enough for a Hawaiian vacation.
But wait, we're not done. What if Jake took those yearly savings and put them into an account earning 7% compound interest? In just 10 years, he'd have over $65,000, enough for a down payment on a house. In 20 years, he'd have almost $200,000, all from just eating at home more often.
Jake's example demonstrates.
So I don't know that we are.
Even in an era.
Sorry. Gosh, technology. I don't know that we're going to be saving enough to go on a Hawaiian vacation, but if you're someone who spends a lot of money on eating out and eats out like at least one meal a day, by cutting back, you might find yourself saving a surprisingly big amount of money. I think that video just went to show like how quickly those things can add up. So coming full circle here, right? I talked about budgeting at the beginning. I'm going to talk about budgeting again. Habit number 5 is to track your food expenses in a budget. Budgeting for food is going to be difficult, like I said, if you don't have an actual budget for your overall day to day, month to month expenses already. Remember that your budget should not be stored in your head, but it should be in some sort of physical form. So, something like a budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or you can even keep it simple with a journal or a paper budget. As you track your spending, you'll learn your spending habits and your eating habits also. And if you keep on top of your budget, you can work to adjust your spending over time as needed. We know that food is a need and it's definitely a necessary thing to budget for, but some food is probably less of a need and more of a want. So things like eating out, takeout, and Starbucks are all wants and probably could be cut out of your budget. And just to be clear, budgeting isn't about never spending money on anything that you want. It's about prioritizing your spending so that you can comfortably afford the things that you need and some, but probably not all, of the things that you want. It is okay to adjust your budget as well. Personally, I've had to increase my family's food budget a few times in the last few years as food prices have gone up. So that for me involved readjusting my overall budget, like my big picture, and taking some money from unessential spending categories like entertainment and moving that over to the essential spending like food. So this was a shorter slide deck. We're wrapping up our kind of official planned content, but we do have plenty of time for questions. And I would also like to show you the resources that we have on our website that can help you dine on your budget. And I just want to reiterate, we are here to help you figure it out too. We offer a variety of services to Penn State students, and all of our services are free. Our goal with all of our programs is to help you understand and take control of your finances. We offer our one-on-one financial coaching appointments. Those can be scheduled by current students through Starfish. We've got group presentations and webinars. We have self-study modules in Canvas. Those are actually open to the public. You don't need any login information to get into our self-study modules through Canvas. And we have a ton of different topics on our self-study modules. Any financial topic that you can think of, we probably have some helpful information for you there in our self-study modules. We also offer a mentoring program. Through this program, we connect current students with Penn State alumni or Penn State affiliated mentors. And last but not least, our newest offering are our financial foundations workshops. This is a hands-on opportunity to really learn about and dig into your finances. So instead of just learning about a budget like you would in one of our presentations, you'll actually have the opportunity to build and create your own budget. Instead of just learning about your credit score, you'll look at your credit score and dig into your credit report. This is a workshop series. We're offering these in the fall. They are 3 2-hour group sessions. So within that time, you'll really dig into your finances. Check out our website if you are interested in signing up for one of these sessions in the fall. So as you see, we have lots to offer, all for free. And we do have some QR codes at the very end of this presentation that you can scan and be connected directly to the web page that you need to be if you're interested in pursuing one of these services. Like I said, that's kind of the end of our official webinar here. We hope it was helpful. I hope you got a new tip or two on how you might save some money on food. If you would like to give us some feedback on today's webinar, we would appreciate it.